Namaha. Welcome you all in the sixth part of Kathopanishad class. Today is the last class of Kathopanishad. We have seen the Nachiketa has been told about in detail about the Atma, Jivatma and the Brahma. So now the concluding part comes in this part. Here will come the description of Atma and Brahma by Yamacharya. This is the very important shloka. It's very frequently spoken in the lectures also. Urdhva मूलो वाक शाख एवो अश्वत्थः सनातनः तदेव शुक्रम तद ब्रह्म तदेव अमृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकाश्रिताः सर्वे तदुनात्येति कश्चन एतद् वै तत्. Now the other in the other way around, the Yamacharya is telling the body of man is transient from the time immemorial. The body is still there. Ashvatthya is which is permanent, which is sanatan. Whatsoever it's not like that. What is today may not be tomorrow. So it's wow, how he has explained that it's a tree hanging the upward side down. How it will be? The legs will be there like the branches of the tree, the hands will be like that, then here will be the roots of the tree. He is explaining in this way. So if a man is hung upside down, then the matted hair of the head are like roots and the hands and legs are spread like the branches of a tree. Why you wonder in this body? Because understand this body as inanimate of a tree. The real existence is not this but something else. This body is not the real existence. This real existence is which is inside the body, Atma. His alone is Shukra, Brahm and Amrit. All cosmological regions rely on him. None is greater than him, and that is Etat Vaitat, that is Brahma. Here, at many places, we will find that Atma and Jivatma and Paramatma are exchanged. Somewhere they say Atma and it's taken as a Jivatma, and somewhere when the Rishi say Atma, it has to be taken as Paramatma. Because Upanishads are very secret science and none of the explanation we find of the Rishis. All the explanations are of the Vidwans only the learned people only. So everyone explains as per their own knowledge. Yad idam kinch jagat sarvam pranejati nisritam mahadbhayam vajram udyatam ya etad viduramritaste bhavanti. Which I was discussing in the last class, the same shloka has come. That is, this universe has not just appeared casually. It has been very intelligently made by someone. Like if we go in a house, we see kitchen is there, drawing room is there, bedroom is there, washroom is there. So well planning is there. Same way the whole universe is how much planned. Somewhere the hills are there, sea is there, then desert is there, then rivers are there. How beautifully the seasons are planned, the time, the birth is planned, the sun, each and every item has been well planned and organized and managed by someone. So it's not an automatic that someone has come, the word has been created by someone very specifically. There is a display of dynamism in it. It's not stationary. Progress of life in the body, material progress in the world, all this dynamism is due to pran in the jivat, pran which is addressed by the jivatma, life. Without life force, this body, universe, both are inert. The same life force which works in the body, a part of it works in the Brahmand also, in the universe also. So without life force, this body, universe, both are inert and inanimate. Pran itself doesn't activate, it is activated by someone. And some fearsome power with thunderbolt, they are called it as pran. The sun, the moon, all the planets, all the lightning bodies, they are under the control of the Brahma. They fear of Brahma, and that's why they are very disciplined. They don't go undisciplined. Thus, those who perceive Brahm in this form, they become immortal. So, our the whole struggle is to from mortal to immortal. Okay, we want to overcome this mortality. We want to become out of the circle of birth and death, birth and death, birth and death. Now we are birth. So this life is going on. Then one day we will die. Then again we will take a birth. Then again this cycle will go on. This cycle goes on until and unless we break it. So it can be broken only in the human body only. The dogs cannot think of any, birds cannot think of, any other animal cannot think of it. So that's why the human body is very important. The shloka will come that if in this body we find the Brahm, then it's the success of the human being. Otherwise, merely making a house, buying 2-3 cars, and having a very good reputation in society, everybody say, okay, well, you are a very nice person, you are a very spiritual person, very holy person. It doesn't make a sense until and unless we achieve the Brahm. That is the ultimate aim of this human body. भयात्स्याग्निस्तप्ति भयातप्ति सूर्यः भयादिन्द्रश्च वायुश्च मृत्युर्धावति पंचमः. This I was just mentioning that only from his fright the fire blazes, only with his fear the sun blazes. Indra, Varun, Vayu function due to his scare, and Mrityu, death, in the panic because of him. So everything is working because of his fear. He is justice. The God is doing the justice now. The court, the highest supreme, what we say Supreme Court, and Supreme Court and supermost court is of Brahma. So whatsoever decision is not very good in Supreme Court, that will be taken by the most supreme court. I don't know what to say. So the God is the ultimate justice. He will do the justice if a human being is not giving any justice, and because of his fear only, everything is at place. चेद शकद बोधुम प्राक शरीरस्य विस्रसः ततः सर्गेषु लोकेषु शरीरत्वाय कल्पते. Before giving up this body in this birth, if he is perceived, in that case afterwards when a new creation appears at outward, then the Jivatma maintains the body, not earlier on maintain a body in the heaven. If in this birth we achieve the God, that is the success of human body. Otherwise, the cycle, death, birth, death, birth, death, birth, death will continue. Kalpate, kalp, we never know when the story will come to an end. यथा दर्शे तथा आत्मनि, यथा स्वप्ने तथा पितृलोके, यथाप्सु परैव ददृशे, तथा गंधर्वलोके छाया तपोरिव ब्रह्मलोके. यथा दर्शे तथा आत्मनि, like as we say, Brahm is sighted in the Atmalok, Pitrilok, Gandharvalok and Brahmalok. The Atmal, within the Atma is the Atmalok, and Pitrilok is where we elders stay, eminent aged elders, they say in the Pitrilok. Gandharvalok is where we can say the support of intellectuals are. In the other way I can explain like this. In Atmalok we can find it. Pitrilok is when we have the a respect for our elders, and we can think of about how they achieve the God. In that way we can achieve. And in Gandharvalok is when we listen to beautiful bhajans, we do sankirtanam, then we get the solace in the soul. That is Gandharvaloka. And Brahmalok is when we do meditation and we achieve the Brahm. That is the Brahmaloka. The supreme, the spirit God is like the sunlight and a shade very clearly and distinctly when we find him. Indriyanam prithak bhava udayastamayochayat prithak utpadyamananam matyadhiro na shochati. Atma is not born. This is immortal. the senses appear separately from Atma. Senses appear separately from Atma. Na? The senses rise and decline, but not the Atma. Atma is still there. Person may get blind, person may become deaf, but Atma is still there. So, therefore, whoever understands that senses are not Atma, senses are separate from Atma, that calm and soulman man is not overwhelmed by the sorrow, because the same the Shri Krishna ji has told in Bhagavad Gita, Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka. So soul is separate from senses. So soul cannot be cut. In the last some shloka it came, na, who saw that I have killed, and the other one thinks I have been killed. Both are wrong. Soul, okay, because soul is mortal, soul is never born, soul never dies. Is not overwhelmed by the sorrow. Dhiro na shochati. He is not overwhelmed by the sorrow, who knows that soul cannot be harmed in any ways. इंद्रियेभ्य परम मनो मनसा सत्वम उत्तमम सत्वादधि महानात्मा महतो अव्यक्तम उत्तमम उत्तमम. The mind is superior to senses, we know. Wisdom is superior to the mind. Here are the senses, then is the mind, then is the wisdom, and spirit is superior to the wisdom. This thing we have seen many times. From great spirit only we can achieve the Brahma, the unknown. Meaning nature is superior. The Atma, and from Atma is the Prakriti, and then Brahma is there. So this is the sequence. This will remain in every cycle, in every life, in every death. But the thing is, senses and mind is there, but the difference comes at the level of wisdom. The dog has different wisdom, cow has different wisdom, humans have different wisdom. So the difference occurs at the level of wisdom. अव्यक्ता तु परः पुरुषो व्यापको लिंगम एवच यम ज्ञात्वा मुच्यते जंतुर अमृतत्वम च गच्छति. Purusha, that is the Brahma, is superior to the imperceptible. He is pervasive and is without gender. He is not male or female. We have made the Devi Devatas as male and female, but Brahma doesn't have male or female, is without any gender. This creature is free from sorrow with his perception and attain the immortality. Jantur amritatam gacchati. न सन्दृशे तिष्ठति रूपमस्य न चक्षुषा पश्यति कश्चनैनं हृदा मनीषी मनसा अभिकल्प्तो या एतद् विदुर्मितास्ते भवन्ति. His form doesn't settle for the eyes to see. The eye wants to see on his appearance, but the moment it sets, as it is not his semblance, eyes cannot see him, because the things which are very small we cannot see, and the things which is very big we cannot see. The eyes and ears, they have some limited capacity. I don't remember actually. I think from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz we can listen. Below 20 hertz we cannot listen, and after 20,000 hertz we cannot listen. The ears have some capacity. Same way, the eyes has some capacity. Minute things we cannot see, even with microscope also we cannot see. The electron, proton, neutron with normal microscope we cannot see. Same way, the very big things also we cannot see. So the same thing he is mentioning, that the eyes when set on him don't stay fixed. Hands while coming up do not grasp it. It's beyond the senses. The God, the Brahma is beyond the level of all the senses. Hands are unable to grasp him. With the heart and soul, not with the eyes and hands. We can grasp the God with the heart and the soul. And those who understand this become immortal. Yada panchavatiष्ठन्ते ज्ञानानि मनसा सह बुद्धिश्च न विश्चेष्टति तमाहु परमां गतिम्. Yada panch avatiष्ठते, when the five senses we have, when the five organs of the senses are steady with the mind, then don't go astray or still. The mind unites with absolute wisdom. That state is called Param Gati, merging of the soul with the ultimate. In Yoga Darshan, this situation has been explained very clearly. When the mind is calm, actually, when we are restless, when our mind is restless, if you see a person is sitting on the chair, he is moving his legs, it means something is going on his mind. And some person is doing like this, something is doing. So something is going on in the mind, some activity is going on. So when mind is settled, senses are settled. And then mind is comfortably is with the wisdom. And then when wisdom is also silent, then we can see the Atma. Atma's shadow we can see in the wisdom. Then when we can see, it's like same, like we go to the pond. Nearby if we stand, we cannot see our image if the waves are there. And when the pond is silent, there are no waves, we can see very clearly. This is the only thing. When there is no waves in our mind, what will happen? Our mind will come, it will connect with the wisdom, and then the shadow of our Atma will come to the wisdom and we will come to know about him. This is explained in the, I think, third path of Yoga Darshan. So this is the, is telling the Paramagati. ताम योगमिति मन्यते स्थिर इंद्रिय धारणाम अप्रमतस्तदा भवति योगो हि प्रभवाप्ययौ. The calm aptitude of the senses is called the yoga. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Just I was telling you the second sutra of Yoga Darshan, Patanjali Yoga Darshan. Whose senses become calm. The actual the situation is with the senses. We see the senses are not calm, but actually the mind is not calm. If we are sleeping, even then mind is working, senses are calm. With at the time of sleep we are not listening, we are not watching anything, but mind is still working. Oh, tomorrow I have to go to the office, I will do this, I will do that, everything is going on. Then slowly what will happen? When tamasa raises, what will happen? Mind little bit goes to relax and we sleep. Then again, if some sanskara comes, smriti comes, we get some dreams and everything goes on. So actual thing is to calm down your mind. When mind is settled, all senses will be settled. So out of divide of lust, one should become careful, don't become prudent. The purpose of yoga is prabhava, the origin, the growth, and apai. Apai is the loss. Don't worry about any of the loss. Everything has to be apai. One thing, everything has to be, say, we have to say goodbye to everything. And if we say that will be okay, otherwise it will be snatched by the universe. The growth of auspicious concepts, the sanskara, what we say, is called the prabhav. The loss of inauspicious concepts is called apai. Prabhav and apai, two things are there. नैव वाचा न मनसा प्राप्तुम शक्यो न चक्षुषा अस्तीति ब्रुवतो अन्यत्र कथम तदुपलभ्यते. He cannot be found with speech, mind and eyes. The last one shloka kenan bahuna shruten. We cannot find him by listening too much, but we can find him when he wants him, he will appear in front of him. The same thing is say astiti, he is. He is apart from this. How can he be found? He is not apart. He is here only. But we need to have the calm mind so that we can perceive his presence. Asti etyeva uplabdhya vyastatva bhaven chobhayoh asti etyeva uplabdhasya tattva bhavah prasidati. He is and he is not, carrying out a fundamental appraisal of both, what he is and what he is not. He is declaring such as he can be perceived, but he cannot be sensed. Whoever has perceived him as asti, asti is asti bhave, bhu sattayam huna, something is there, asti, it's there. His fundamental appraisal is correct that he is. But where he is, everywhere he is. How to find him? When he wants us to find him, we will be able to find him. Find him also with the, we can perceive him in our wisdom, we can perceive him in his, in our heart, in our soul. यदा सर्वे प्रमुच्यन्ते कामा ये यस्य हृदि श्रितः अथ मृत्योऽमृतो भवत्यत्र ब्रह्म समश्नुते. Yada sarve pramuchate. When the anxieties in a man mind breaks, anxious, no, we are always anxious, want to do this, want to go to office, want to go to market, want to eat, want to see the WhatsApp, want to go to have the look on the Facebook. All every time we are anxious. The activity is there in our mind, and whether it physically no activity is there, in mindful there are many activities going on. So then Martya, mortal turns into Amrit when there is no activity, and immortal. This mortal then becomes eternal. This is the preaching of Shastras. When there is no activity, when no waves are there, then only we can see the shadow of Brahm in our wisdom. Shatam chaika ch hirdasya nadyastasam murdhanmabhini sitrika तयो अधर्वम आयनमृतत्वमेति विश्वंगन्या उत्क्रमणे भवन्ति. Utkramaणे bhavanti. Utkraman is above. So the heart has 101 veins. One of them goes towards the cerebrum, the head side. At the time of death, the Atma which exits the body from the nerve upwards, the Atma when goes from the Brahmarandra, this opening, achieves the release from rebirth. This is the concept the Shastra is telling. Immortality. Rest of other nerves serve the purpose of common people at the time of death. Only the yogi's Atma goes from the Brahmarand. Otherwise, many people leave from the eyes, from the nose, from the mouth, from the any other organ, any other outlets also. So rest of the other nerves serve the purpose of common people at the time of death. The pran, the soul of the one who is dedicated to the God, exits from the head, while of others through the other roots. This will come in Prashan Upanishad also, in Chandogya Upanishad also, and Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also. This is a very famous shloka. Next is 17th. I think this is the last shloka, or 18th is the last shloka. Yes. 16th we have, now we'll read the 17th. This is very famous shloka. Angusht matraha pursho antaratma sada jananam hirde sannivishtaha tam swacha sharirat pravidhen munjad vishikam dhairen tam vidyas chukram amritam tam vidyam chukram amritam iti. Angusht matram pursho antaratma. This is the size. Very clearly they have written. Angusht is the thumb. Atma is the heart of living beings, we know. Within that Atma is the Purusha, the Brahm. It is hidden. He is the inner spirit of Atma. He is merely size of a thumb. As if it were merely the thumb of Brahm, just as one is caught by the thumb and the drawn out, is the same way Brahm hidden out in our innermost space. He repeated is pulled out, which is exactly similar to a streak of grass being pulled out from under tall grass. That alone is Shukra, virtue, enlightenment. That alone is Amrit, the immortal. And this is the Angushtmatra Purushantaratma Sada Jananam Hirde Sannivishta. The Angushtmatra, the thumb-like place is there where Brahm is there. Hidden in our inner retreat and is pulled out, which is exactly similar. The example they have given is the streak of a grass being pulled out from under tall grass. That alone is Shukra, virtue, enlightenment. That alone is Amrit, the immortal. How beautifully they have explained. Na? Shukra, virtue, the enlightenment. 17th is there. The last one. Mrityu proktam nachiketo ath labdhva vidyam etam yoga vidhim chakritsnam brahma prapto virjo bhudvimrityor अन्यो अपि एवं यो विद्धि आत्ममेव. Who was the counsel of Mrityu? The Yamacharya. To Nachiketa on the knowledge and total method in yoga made Nachiketa unite with Brahma and virtuous and free from death. Anyone whosoever desires to ascertain this spiritual knowledge will become similar to Nachiketa, as Nachiketa has been told all about Brahma, Atma, and then the same way the Nachiketa has become immortal. The person who listens and practice it will also become immortal. So with this 18th shloka, we'll finish the 6th part of Kathopanishad, and with this our Kathopanishad finish it today. Om Sarvebhyo Namaha.